G'day, I'm Ash. Well, I'm in the midst of rearranging and moving into a new office. I've developed back problems from a incident involving a fire truck. I've developed a lot of problems and had a lot of things going on, so I do apologise there hasn't been any content recently. It's been one hell of a, well, start to 2023. Essentially, I could have nerve damage. I've been having extreme back pains all down the left-hand side of my body. It's so bad you can't really sit for too long, can't really stand for too long, can't really lie down for too long, so it's the best of all three worlds, I suppose. Ah, the joys of losing 13 kilos, yeah, and obviously trying to lose a heap more weight when you find more medical problems. Anyway, thank you to everyone who continues to purchase my decal, by the way. For those of you who want 3% discount, link in the description. Otherwise, today's video is going to be primarily focused back onto the War Thunder thing. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've actually looked at War Thunder properly, and the first thing that I looked at when I came back to play was actually what I missed about War Thunder the most. Occasionally in air-realistic battles you will get a match that consists of the US team versus the Japanese team. It's matches like these where you sort of go, ah, I remember what old War Thunder used to be like. And, well, what do I mean by that? Well, Matchmaker was semi-historical at that point in time. Unlike modern War Thunder, where you have nations divvied up between each team, also known as mixed battles, back in the day, it used to be somewhat of a regimented, well, matchmaker cycle. Gaizen still hasn't figured out how to do that nowadays, and their rationale is basically, well, let's put players in matches and let's get them on teams. Whereas back in my day, 2014, early 2013, Historical Matchmaker was there primarily as an advertising campaign. It sort of was there because there wasn't as many nations, there wasn't as many vehicles, and there certainly wasn't the number of players that we have breaking record numbers by buying F-14s or other premium aircraft. Statistics given to us by the content partner managers in 2021, after they had looked through the data, told us that most players had rank 4 and rank 5 vehicles and were playing majority of the time at, well, what was considered top tier back then, rank 4 and 5 and even 6 vehicles. So, you know, putting 2 and 2 together was quite an interesting thing. When you look at the way that War Thunder has developed, instead of separating the tech trees like many of the content creators had suggested, or putting a split between the World War II content and the Cold War content, instead what we got was, well, here, have Cold War premiums. And to be fair, the free-to-play market was really driving you that way. The way the game is designed is to drive you up the tech trees and make sure that you unlock the next greatest thing, and continues to push you to do so. You don't have to play by that sort of rule set. You can go play your favourite vehicles. And the other type of data that was given out by those content partner managers back in that time period was that people were only playing for an average of about 40 minutes a day. So this is where I focused my energy on, at least in terms of content, when I was talking about you know, how War Thunder evolves and what it was doing. And that was 2021 and / early 2022. So you're looking at an interesting time. Regardless, War Thunder is missing a little bit of a soul. It doesn't really have... It feels more of a corporate identity. There's still a lot of soul left in it, but I do feel like, for example, looking back at some of the older videos and looking back at some of the older content, people were mentioning, oh, we're only versing Britain, or we're only versing Japan, and you're playing as America, or stuff like that. Or you get Norway and you'd be fighting the Germans and the Italians at the same time. So, you know, I do miss kind of scenarios like that. My biggest thing, though, is naval aviation in War Thunder. It's sort of died now. I do miss getting the air naval maps, stuff like Hokkaido, stuff like Iwo Jima, for example. Those kind of things I really do miss, and it gives sort of, you know, ground attackers, you know, to get torpedo kills with torpedoes. When was the last time you actually dropped a torpedo on an AI ship in air-realistic battles? Because keep in mind, tanks didn't exist prior to, you know, early 2015, so yeah, and naval, well, it's a bit of a bloody joke at the moment. So, you know, retrospectively, what I'm trying to talk about here is why historical matchmaking will never be a thing in War Thunder ever again. And primarily, War Thunder will not be the same as it continues to grow and obviously expand upon its content base. And that's fantastic. That's what it needs to do. In order for War Thunder to survive another 10 years, the last thing that they probably want to do is scare away the population by not adding something new and shiny. But having custom events or custom sort of game modes, like for example the stuff that I did with Weeby and his Battle of Britain, really made me feel and fall in love with the game. The stuff that Fly Daily was doing with his custom games, that was the jam. That kind of stuff really brought me back into fold, really sort of made me appreciate some of the vehicles that probably wouldn't be as played as much, because you just kind of skip over them. And I kind of miss that. I miss that sort of journey of traveling through a tech tree, unlocking some things, and then potentially playing some lower tier vehicles. It's not the same as it once was. Mixed matchmaking is fine, and it works for the majority of the player base and majority of applications. But for those rare instances where you want to feel like you have a tactical superiority, or maybe you have, you want to feel like you've got a disadvantage, for example, you're in Hurricane and your enemy team is in 109s, then maybe, you know, historical matchmaking would be a nice event occasionally. Like, for example, the B-17s versus 262s, where you had escorts of P-51s, right? That sort of events. The Blue Angels, oh no, not Blue Angels, the, oh, I forget the bloody name of the things. I don't, War Thunder is a complex topic, and I've been reflecting on my past 10-year journey, and we're going to be expanding upon that in the coming series of videos I want to do. But let me know in the comments down below. Historical matchmaker, yes or no? Personally, I'm in the no camp, even though I do miss the sort of gameplay that it provided. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. My name is Ash, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.